at the top, that's what that's for.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone coming. I'm Dee Weckworth, and I am the chair of the Commission on Diversity Awareness for the City of Flagstaff, and I call this meeting to order at 1:31 p.m. So we begin with roll call, and I'm here. Jean Toner, Vice Chair.
Here.
Commissioner Duke.
Here.
Commissioner Hardy.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Gebler. Not today. Commissioner Pino is not with us today from what I see on the chat at this point. Commissioner Tucci.
Hi, I'm here.
I'm glad you're here. And I think that's everyone. Okay, good. Going ahead with reading the mission statement and the land acknowledgement. Our mission is that we are commissioned to foster support, respect, awareness, and appreciation of diversity among all citizens of Flagstaff. Is there anyone that would care to read the land acknowledgement for me, please?
Okay, I'll go ahead. The Commission on Diversity Awareness humbly acknowledges the ancestral homelands of this area's indigenous nations and original stewards. These lands, still inhabited by native descendants, border mountains sacred to indigenous peoples. We honor them, their legacies, their traditions, and their continued contributions. We celebrate their past, present, and future generations who will forever know this place as home.
Lovely. You read that so nicely. Thank you. We're on to agenda item 4, upcoming opportunities and announcements. And there are a couple of things on the announcement list, and we can add to them as long as things are brief. The first thing is that Vice Chair Toner and I attended the Indigenous Commission meeting on August 3rd. And I would say that, the format of it was just a bit awkward in the sense that we were there speaking in the section for them of public comment. And of course, when that happens for them, as it does for us, they are not able to respond, but rather just listen. And so it feels very odd and one-sided, but we explained to them that we look forward to being supportive to them and are interested in knowing about ways that we can do that, and hoping in the future that we can collaborate on issues that are appropriate. Jean, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Just one thing, we also acknowledged that the proclamation for Indigenous Day and for, well, we have never done Indigenous Day, but for Native American Heritage Month, they will be taking lead on now. When we started doing that proclamation, there was no Indigenous Commission, and now that there is, that's the appropriate commission to take the lead on that.
Yes, thank you. It is the appropriate commission, and it's not an unwillingness on our part to not do that, but obviously they can more appropriately determine what the content of those kinds of proclamations should be. So I'm excited about that happening, and really grateful for their taking that over, because I think it'll be done very well. The other thing on our upcoming opportunities and announcements list is the Indigenous Representation Project at Sawmill Multicultural Art and Nature County Park. Is that all one word there? Anyway, is there someone here who is, I've forgotten who's participating on that?
I have it on my schedule to go.
Okay.
And I've received the invitations.
Okay.
That's all.
So it's an upcoming thing, and at this point, that's all there is to report, right?
Yeah, to my knowledge, it's on August 29th at 6:30 p.m. at Sawmill.
Great. Okay.
And I'll be attending too, and just to let folks know, if you go back to the minutes or the video from the last Indigenous Commission meeting, there was a really fantastic presentation by the Beautification Commission on, some of the planning, some of the long-term planning for all of Flagstaff, but also for Willow Bend. So just FYI for everybody.
I agree. It was amazing. I would never have imagined all that. So that was really something. Is there anything else that anyone wants to add in the way of announcements for our group? I'm feeling like I'm.
This is Jessica.
Jessica, you have something? I'm sorry, I'm not noticing hands. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it might be the Liza Archuleta Park now, if I'm not mistaken, as of this last weekend. But two updates on my end. Well, really, one is that an email is going to be sent out from me later on today to this group. It's from Stride Forward, the transportation surveys that we've been participating in. There is a request for two surveys to be completed. One is for commissioners specifically, and one is to share with your constituents, family and friends. And both of those surveys do close August 22nd. So just keep an eye out. Not too much time. So if you're able to take those and complete those surveys, the Stride Forward team greatly appreciates it. And then secondly, just for those that weren't able to attend, but if anyone wants to speak to the social event that we had, I thought it went really well, and we adapted to the location change real quick due to weather. But if anyone wanted to comment on that.
No, you're right. I meant to comment on that, and especially to thank you, Jessica. Oh, I'm so sorry. Her name is escaping me. Who else was helping with this? Anyway, those of you who put this together did an amazing job. And there were people in attendance that I had not met before. And I thought that it was a really helpful thing to get to know everybody personally. So thank you very much, those of you who were there, and thank you to those who helped put it together. Appreciate that. For those of you who were in attendance, was this something that you thought was useful? No.
I enjoyed meeting the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was nice to meet everyone in person as well.
Really helped me to put faces and names together. So thank you for those of you who could come to that. Is there anything else for announcements? Otherwise, we're on to public comment. Do we have public comment today?
And Chair Wegler, if you don't mind holding one moment, looks like we have two members trying to get in. I'd like to get them in before we continue, if that's all right.
Yep, we'll just hang on.
let's go ahead and continue. I just resent the link to both of them, so we'll keep an eye out. And if it gets to their portions of the meeting, we'll check it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this computer magic is elusive to me sometimes. Consideration and approval of minutes is the next thing on our agenda. And I hope that some of you, all of you, had a chance to look through the draft minutes. Thanks to Jessica for putting these together. Jessica, you always capture more detail than I would be able to do. I'm always amazed. And I did not find any corrections except for a tiny typo. And it's under 7A. So 7A, the second bullet point, the chair role, Vice Chair Toner is not moving into the chair role, which it turns out she is, but there's just an I missing in the word chair. And I think that it's effective to throw in a typo here or there just to see if anybody actually looked at these. I didn't see anything that I thought was an error in terms of the capturing of the meeting. Is there anyone else that had any corrections or additions?
Sorry, Chair, you said in 7A.
The second bullet point. It's at the very end of that second bullet point.
Oh, thank you. Second bullet. Okay.
Yeah, tiny picky thing. Sorry. That's the best I can do for picking at the minutes. How's that?
I appreciate it.
There's in other words, not much for me to pick at here. Did anyone else have any changes that they wanted to point out?
And I just wanted to point out Commissioner Gebler has joined the meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate your being here. So if there are no changes to the minutes, entertain a motion to approve.
Aye. Oh, second.
So
I
we have a
second.
motion.
No.
Jessica, are you getting all this?
I have, who motioned?
I think maybe Jean did.
Jean?
Yep.
Okay.
And Dan seconded. I believe we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, minutes approved. Yay. The date of the next meeting is September 21st at 1:30 p.m. Just to clarify, is there, I know none of us have a crystal ball. I'm not asking for that, but as far as you know, is there any reason to think that we might not have a quorum for that meeting? We're just trying to make sure that we, most of us are likely to be able to be there.
I will.
I'm planning to attend. So it doesn't sound like there is any objection to that date. Is that a fair thing to say? Then I think we will retain that date. September 21st, 2022 at 1:30 p.m. Action items. Item 8 on our agenda. The first thing is Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. Is there someone in our group that's working on that?
Mandy and I are on that, Commissioner Gebler and I are on that committee, and via email, we met with commission, the council chair and vice chair, Chair Cruz and Vice Chair Donaldson. And we did some, drafting and then acceptance of this draft, all via email. One person had COVID, and the rest of us, we just couldn't find a time to everybody get together on Zoom, so we did it via email. And I appreciate the county Hispanic Advisory Commission, council, for partnering in this process.
So it was the County Hispanic Advisory Council? Is that?
HAC, yeah, Coconino County Hispanic Advisory Council.
Oh, that's great. And yeah, and we nowadays, in the context of COVID, we get together any way we can. So thank you for putting it together. Would Mandy or Jean, would one of you care to read through this, or do you want someone else to? I think it really helps to read through the proclamation and hear it in its entirety, if you don't mind.
I would love for Mandy to read it. Are you okay with reading it, Mandy?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great. I appreciate that.
Okay. The city of Flagstaff celebrates the rich cultural traditions and proud ancestry of Hispanic Americans and recognizes the vital contributions Hispanic peoples have made to strengthen and diversify our community. Hispanic families have resided in Flagstaff and have built communities in Calaveras, La Plaza Nueva, La Plaza Vieja, Los Chantes, and other areas of Flagstaff beginning in the 1920s. Hispanic Americans have influenced Flagstaff and continue to play an integral role in shaping, developing, and creating a vibrant city through service in city and county government, both elected and appointed, through leadership and service in education, business, medicine, and social services, through military service and veterans organizations, and through nonprofit organizations such as Nuestras Raíces and Ballet Folclórico de Colores. Hispanic Americans in Flagstaff have shared rich cultural traditions with the community through celebration of arts, language, and culture, such as Cinco de Mayo celebration, Summertime Tardeada, and in partnership with Museum of Northern Arizona, the Celebraciones de la Gente, and in murals and other public art in Flagstaff. In keeping with the national 2022 Hispanic Heritage Month observance theme, as announced by the National Council of Hispanic Employment Program Managers, Unidos, Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation, reminding our community that we are enriched and strengthened through the web of connection born of respect for diversity and equity. Therefore, the Commission on Diversity Awareness, in partnership with Coconino County Hispanic Advisory Council, recommends the designation of September 15th, 2022 through October 15th, 2022 as Hispanic Heritage Month in unison with national and statewide observances.
That's great. When will this will then, well, first we need to approve this. Is that our next step? I'm just
Yes.
clarifying.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Mandy, for reading that. It was beautiful. And is there any discussion about this? Because we need to vote on it today. But before we do, are there any comments that anyone wants to make? None. Seeing none, actually, I'm going to move that we put this proclamation forward to the City Council and ask for a second on that.
I second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Is anyone opposed? I hear no opposition, so I think we have approved that. Jessica, what is the timeline on going forward with this?
Yeah, thank you. So initially the agenda says October 4th. Vice Chair Toner had reached out just correcting, based on the dates of the month that earlier would be better. And so I do have a pending request with the city clerk's office to get this on the September 13th council agenda. I think we should have no problem. So if we could discuss who would be available either in person or virtually, to accept this proclamation.
I personally would like to nominate, sorry, Mandy, Commissioner Gebler to read it. She read it beautifully here as in our meeting. And if Commissioner Gebler, you are available from 3 to like 3:15, 3:20 on the 13th of September, which is a Tuesday, that would be great. I'd also be willing to show up, but you did a nice reading of this.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Oh, that would be so great. So I would appreciate that as well. And
And it's at 3.
pardon me?
It's at 3 o'clock.
The council meeting starts at 3 and they generally do the proclamations first thing right after roll call. So it happens within the first like 5-10 minutes of the meeting. And then you would just walk up to accept it. Mayor DC will ask who is available to accept this proclamation. And then you would go up to accept the physical proclamation.
Okay, perfect. I can do that.
Thank you. And I will let their office know that you will be in attendance. They do prefer to know in advance, because in the past, if no one's going to be there, they're waiting like who's here to accept, and there's no, it's a little awkward. So just flows a little better when they have a heads up if someone will be there. So I'll be sure to follow up.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
And if others of us are there, do we go up as well just to be in attendance, or is it better not to? What is the usual protocol?
It can be more than one individual. If there are others in the audience in the past, the mayor's just acknowledged that there are members in the audience of the commission also present. If people weren't sure if they were able to attend, we just kind of left it alone. So kind of same reason, they're not maybe acknowledging people that aren't there. But yeah, I would leave that up to the group. If you would like additional members, if you're available and present, that's up to this group.
I would like to attend, but I'm not yet certain if I can. So maybe Jessica, I could get back to you on that.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to attend and be in the audience also. And if for some reason something happens, I would definitely beam in virtually, but I would be very happy to be in the audience.
So thank you. Okay. And I appreciate your work on the proclamation, and it's wonderful. Thank you. Do we have future proclamations that we need to be considering now so that we have them on our calendar?
The next one is actually Native American Heritage Month in November, and we won't be doing that. So I do not believe there's another one until Black History Month in February. So we've got a little bit of a lull in that.
Okay, that's good to know. And lulls can be a welcome thing sometimes. So thank you. We're on to agenda item 9, the reports and discussion items. And I believe that Felicia Fiedler is here. Felicia, I'm seeing you on my list of people in attendance.
I am here.
And we had you speaking with us before in a meeting when we were very crunched, and I felt very bad about that because I really wanted to give you the time and hear what you had to say. So we are putting you farther up front on the agenda and want you to be able to explain anything you want to us today.
Okay, I will give an abbreviated version for you guys today. And I don't know if you'll be able to make suggestions since it's been time since the last one. This is what I'm going to be doing. And let's see, I am going to share my screen.
Very good.
Presentation. Good. Okay. Wonderful. All right. So you guys should be able to see the PowerPoint on my screen.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you. I wanted to make sure. So I presented on behalf of the library's Equity in Action Committee. And so I explained some of our history and our purpose. And so our purpose is to educate, engage in public library policy review, starting conversations that might be more difficult to have, as well as taking collaborative action. So mission, vision. One of the things that we were able to accomplish is we created a vision statement. So along with our goals of offering a library card to every community member. So figuring out what those might be blocking some individuals from getting a library card and how we can make that more streamlined, as well as providing access to safe physical spaces where human connections and relationships are fostered, promoting useful, respectful dialogue by sharing reliable information and resources, as well as continually advancing a culture of equity here at the library. And so that is why Library Equity in Action is created. And so we had talked about what equity is and what it means to us. And so we had changed our name to be more inclusive, to make a wider scope. And so some of the goals that we had in mind were getting our leadership more involved, and that includes city leadership, identify where we stand, where our biases are, acknowledge them personally, and begin to work past them, as well as addressing personal biases before we can address institutional ones. So we've looked at ourselves before looking at what is in place policies as well. So the policy review, our circulation policy has shifted. So with that, our library card, we have different types. We have a temporary and a permanent. And so making it more easier for people to get library cards, whether they're in town temporarily or here permanently. And we serve the whole county. And so trying to find those barriers. And so we fixed our policy to make it easier for people to make cards, as well as working on professional development, such as trainings. We've received a few of those so far, and we have a big one coming up here in September. Reviewing the policies and practices for equity and impact. So we're performing a yearly review of incident reports that happen at the library and compile recommendations and reflective questions based off of those. So we have started our work on that and seeing what reports we've had to call 911, and it didn't need to escalate that high. And we're very happy to see that we are handling minor situations and not having to call 911 for those ones. We're also working on performing a yearly policy review, so reflecting on those policies, making sure that they still meet our needs after a year. Posting open workshops and forums in the community to express their needs to us as an institution. So that is another step that we will be working on, is creating those open spaces for our community to be able to talk to us more. Diversify our staff, connect with other institutions around these issues, such as you guys. And so we had talked about our group norms. So I believe I was able to send the PowerPoint to Jessica. And these group norms are just how we go about our meetings. And so we're establishing a baseline, and why I wanted to mention them is we're hoping with our collaboration with you is to kind of make these group norms more widespread than just the library in our one meeting. And so that brings us to the collaborations. So we wanted to share our best practices and what we are working on so that the Diversity Commission can understand where the library is at in becoming a more inclusive space. We also hope that the commission can help share these practices with other city departments. It's a little difficult for just us to do it. And so we're hoping that in collaborating with you guys, we were able to kind of have that spread a little bit more. And then we want to make these norms citywide and have them talk to city leadership, which they recommended us to talk to the commission about how we can share those best practices. So we had talked to city leadership through, I think, an EAC meeting, and they had recommended us to go to you guys on figuring out how we can best share these practices. And then the other thing, we were wondering if you had any other ideas on how we can work together and move forward. And so that was the gist of the presentation I provided in the May meeting. And so we wanted to hear back on ways to collaborate and further spread this.
Thank you for refreshing our memories. I really appreciate that. And the May meeting was too packed. So I'm sorry about that. Very sorry. Commissioners, what are your thoughts?
This is Vice Chair Toner. I just want to say, Felicia, that both the 4th Street and the downtown libraries, I experience them as having a really welcoming, kind of vibe about them. It feels good to walk into 4th Street, it feels warm. And so I want to commend you all on that. And I guess one of the things I would like is if we can generate some ideas, but I guess I'd like to know what you would like from us, what would be most helpful. We are an advisory commission, and we also have individual commissioners that have different skill sets, and we've talked in the past about, the possibility of joint workshops or stuff like that. So if you could just, what are some of the things that you would like from us?
To answer your question, one of the big ones was getting these group norms to be more of a citywide norm. And why I mention that is because that way these discussions can happen past our department. And when we had talked to city leadership about it, they had recommended that we talk to you guys about it, the way that we can share this and make it more standardized. But we're not sure where else we can go, because if your recommendation for that part would be to send it to leadership city, then maybe if we can both go to city together, that would be what they want from us. It was kind of vague from the leadership team. So yeah, for that part, the joint workshops I think would be fantastic. I don't know how we can start working with you guys. Would we have to be a part of these meetings? Would we be able to just be in contact with Jessica to work out programming details? I don't know. That's one. I liked the idea of joint workshops. I just don't know who would be best to contact, and I don't know if we'd have to mention it at a meeting first.
Yeah, and I don't think I know. I think that we get a lot of guidance from Jessica, and so I don't know how that stuff proceeds either. One of the things that I think that we do a lot of times when an issue comes up is we create a work group, and people outside the commission are eligible. I mean, it's not confined just to commissioners, and so I guess my first thought in terms of a distribution plan, which I think is a great idea, is to form a workshop. A work group, and schedule a meeting to brainstorm what a distribution plan might look like. And of course, we are an advisory commission, so then I guess the next step would be to make these advisory recommendations to City Council. So that's my first thought. I'd love to hear from everybody else.
I was thinking work group as well, Jean. Felicia, it's because our commission only meets once a month, and because of I don't know, the pros and cons of open meeting law and all that, we find that it's helpful for us to have subsets of our group working on things and then bringing it back to our meeting. Our role is, as Jean was saying, an advisory role to the City Council. And so what you're asking in a way is for us to advise them of something. And that certainly could be something that we could entertain. I mean, we can take things to the City Council and then they do what they do. But I feel like they do at least listen to us, because that's what they have us here for. So we can do that. I think that it would make sense to form a work group. Because of open meeting law, it's helpful to have the work group. We don't have to post a quorum or whatever if there are only three of us or three or fewer of us meeting. In other words, we're not violating open meeting law until we hit the number 4, which is our quorum number. So we can have as many as 3 people working on a work group. And from my understanding, a work group that is a subset of our commission obviously would include commissioners, but is not limited to commissioners. And so if you are interested in being part of the work group, that is something that you can do. So that's my 2 cents. Anyone else want to weigh in? There's no shortage of work to be done. And I am not disinterested in this, but I will be leaving the commission in a couple of months, and I don't think I'll be able to see this through. And for that reason, I can't volunteer to be a part of this work group. But if there's anyone who has interest, it would be helpful to know.
This is Commissioner Tucci. I'm interested, however, I have a lot of changes coming up in the next month or 2. School starting, and I'm starting 2 different jobs, so I'm not exactly sure how much time I would have available as far as my schedule goes right now.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy. I love the work that Felicia does, and I'm happy to be involved. And one thing we can do with Commissioner Tucci's upcoming, scheduling is just, keep her in the email loop so that she can be part of participate as much or as little as possible, depending on. But there's no problem with, having a person in the email loop. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I mean, I'll have like nights and weekends free, kind of apart from homework. So I just everybody else also would like to do their own thing on their nights and weekends. But yeah, I'm okay with, being in the email loop and giving feedback when it's convenient for me.
Great.
Okay. So to move this forward, Commissioner Toner and Commissioner Tucci will be working with Felicia Fiedler, and together those 3 people will be a work group and communicating in whatever way they wish or can. And perhaps bring some recommendations back to the commission. Is that a fair statement?
That sounds good to me.
Okay,
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good to me as well.
okay.
Can I follow up on one just thing? Got the work group and providing advisory to the council. I was wondering if there was any way I can help with that, or do you guys feel equipped?
Could you restate the question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so the other idea was to share these norms with other city departments and getting that the practices more widespread. And so city leadership had to recommend us to go to you, and then you were talking about advising them.
Yes, and we in terms of, and Jessica, you can weigh in if you think I'm off base, but my understanding of our role in a legal sense is that we advise the city council. And so we can't directly advise other groups, but we can advise the city council to promote this. And there's nothing wrong with us doing that.
I think just to clarify, are you talking about like city citizens or city staff? Because council.
City
doesn't have
staff.
City staff. Okay. So Stacy, I'm glad you're on this call. Just to clarify, council wouldn't direct a city employee per se, but could the commission just provide recommendations to Felicia on how to get this information out to city staff, or what do you think is best process here? I don't want to take it to council, I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I have been confused by this conversation for a while. I'm sorry. Since I've been.
Sorry.
So, Felicia, what was your plan to disseminate this to the rest of the city and to council? Because the library can bring things directly to council as well.
Yeah, so we had brought up so we have been doing this group for about 2 years now, and the group norms and just like trying to take actionable items and like doing like stuff to actually show that we are trying to be equitable. And that is kind of the practices that we're trying to bring to city staff and them to be able to be a part of, and versus just the one city library group. So instead of our bubble, making it more citywide. And so we had talked to city leadership, and by we, I mean more specifically, we have some of our library leadership in Leah who presented to city leadership. And when we had talked about like, hey, we would like to make these ideas more widespread, they were like, go ahead and talk to CODA about it and asking about how we can share those best practices. So, yeah.
And then CODA is basically saying we can probably help you do some ideas, brainstorming on the best ways to create discussion points or presentations to other city staff members. But
well, so here's the question. Can CODA directly, part of our mission is education.
yeah, this is staff asking CODA's help to come up with ideas on how to involve people into diversity.
Right.
Making it further than just our library group.
So that is not you guys directing staff's work program, it's you giving your expertise to staff on the request of staff to help them. Therefore, I think that's within I think that's okay. You cannot direct staff's work programs, but you can if staff is asking. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much today, I apologize. But if staff is asking for assistance from you all for using your expertise, I think that is fine.
So I've got a question, Stacy. Does that mean we need to wait for staff to request? Is that how
I
that
think
works?
this is what Felicia's doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Is it,
Felicia's saying, I need some help on ideas on how to disseminate this information to the rest of staff and then to incorporate it so that it's not just for librarians.
and so hypothetically, would it be okay to have a communication go out after we meet and figure out, kind of a communication plan out to city staff, just saying, CODA in collaboration or partnership with the library, have a developed set of, recommended norms for LEAP? I mean, could we do something like that? Is that within
If
our?
that's what you guys think is the best way to reach staff on that, like I think what you're talking about was working with a working group of working with Felicia to come up with some
Mhm.
ideas on how best to reach out to staff, because staff is still constituents and still general people is probably the best way forward. And then if you decide a communication plan is the best way forward, or if a booklet should be created or whatever you guys decide should happen, or a presentation that we record, all sorts of things, whatever you guys decide happens, then staff can move it on from there.
I got you. Is that, I think I'm clear on it.
Yeah, that helps a lot. From my perspective as well.
Yeah, so what
Okay.
we're doing is just asking for your expertise of how do we expand this program to not just library employees? Because they're smarter than the rest of us.
Because they're what?
They're smarter than the rest of us.
Oh.
I highly respect
I
librarians.
don't know about that, but I do know that the library is doing a bang up job,
Yes, I highly respect our librarians. They are wonderful people.
I
Yeah.
agree. So do we need, now, is this something that the work group that we just formed can brainstorm and bring back, or is that a second project, or where do we go?
You will need to bring it back to the commission so the commission can say, yes, we like your plan. Please go. Thank you for helping Felicia. Yes, this is what the whole commission supports. So let's say you come up with 2 different ideas or 3 different ideas and you guys need help narrowing it down. That would be done at the commission meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so just to clarify, Stacy, if we meet as a work group in the next month, we can have this as a standing item on the agenda and come back with some initial, work plan or something. Is that good?
It should be good. Just,
Okay.
yeah, just report back from library, library support working group, or whatever you guys want to call it, library diversity program working group, however we want to label it. And it just needs to be a report back and then discussion and possible decision.
Got it. That's, I think, is that something you can work with, Felicia?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so.
So before our next meeting, the work group will attempt some kind of communication with each other. Perhaps determine a name for themselves.
Yes.
And I would also like Jessica, to reserve a spot on the agenda for the next meeting in case they have questions or have something to update us on about this. And if there is no update, then that's okay. But unless we agendize it, we can't talk.
That sounds good. I'll add it to the September agenda.
Okay. Is there anything I'm forgetting, anyone?
I'm just, I will, send out like a convening email so we can figure out in the next couple of weeks when to get together.
Okay. And the getting together might take any form. It might be email communication, it might be Zoom meetings, it might be whatever the work group determines is the best way of communicating with each other for getting things done.
Right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I have one more question before we leave this item. Are we going to be able to receive a copy of the PowerPoint?
Jessica, I sent it to you last time, I believe. I might have had some issues sending it to the city. I can go ahead and send it to you again. I don't know if you remember it or not.
Let's see, I have it, but yes.
Okay.
But it was in which meeting?
It happened in May, and I think I had like it in my draft, and I forgot to send it till later.
Yeah.
I sent. You would have received it 6/3. I can forward that email to you again. That would be helpful. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, please. And then I'll attach it to these minutes, so
Okay.
every commission member has access to it then.
Perfect. Thank you both.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
if the work group ends up needing more time before the September agenda or September date comes up, just let me know and I'll keep it on, but just, not take up agenda space for it. So if it ends up being October, just let me know.
Thank you.
And thank you again, Felicia.
Yes. We
Definitely.
appreciate
Thank you both for your time. And by both, I mean all of you.
it. That's great. Is there anything else about this topic that we need to talk about before we move on?
I am satisfied with what we have moving forward.
Great. Okay. And the work group, you need to get started, do you feel?
Yeah, I think we're good. I am. Chris?
Okay.
Christina?
Okay. She may be.
Yeah, sorry, my computer I got a new laptop and I never know where the buttons are, but I'm good.
Well, I know that feeling. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, everyone. The next item on our agenda for today is current commission priorities and the criminal justice conversation with Flagstaff Police Department. And we had talked about this before a little bit, and particularly with an eye toward some personal experiences of a commission member and so forth. And just want to open it up for some discussion and some thinking about where we go from here.
My question is, who would we reach out to now? Because I know initially we had talked about reaching out to the chief, but at this point in time, isn't he on administrative leave due to the massage parlor stuff?
So,
I think so.
Chief Musselman is on administrative leave until the investigation is completed. Deputy Chief Scott, I want to say Mansfield, I might be wrong there, has stepped into his place. But you can definitely request, Jessica could email the city manager or have whoever do that to see if they could set up a time for the police department to have a representative to work with you all.
Okay.
And that would really, I guess, it would be a conversation regarding diversity and how to work with diverse populations, how the police department currently works with diverse populations, to see if you all could advise them and how to find any other sort of areas they might be needing to work in. Is that correct?
Yes, we wanted to talk to them about the ways that they handle diversity now and what preparation they've had for that and so forth.
Okay. And Jessica, like excuse me, I would probably move forward by asking, I don't know if you have someone that works with the CMO's office directly, or if you should just email them directly to see if they could work with you and direct you on how best to reach out to PD to have them do that presentation to the commission. Good, thank you. And it's just 100%, you know, how do you guys address what is done to address diversity in the workforce and working with diverse populations?
Stacy, what do we need to do to have a conversation, you know, not necessarily a PowerPoint presentation, but a give and take conversation? Is there a format for that?
I would really suggest, if it were me, that we first start with a discussion, you know, a presentation on what they currently do. I know I've seen those presentations a couple of times and I've just been amazed because I did not expect to see how much stuff they actually do regarding diversity and working with diverse populations. So I would start with that and ask the police department to have a discussion afterwards. So you can either have the presentation by Flagstaff to police department and discussion, and then have a discussion after the presentation. That would be, you know, you have just listened to it, or you can do it at the next meeting after you've had some time to digest the presentation. But questions after presentations are always welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's what I would do as a person running the meeting.
I wonder if it would be possible for someone to join us at our September meeting. I mean, it's a month lead time. Perhaps there'd be somebody that would be available.
There could be. They are pretty understaffed right now. So again, Jessica would need to work with the CMO's office on that.
Exactly.
Yes. And then also I was thinking about this, and another couple of areas I want to just bring to you all's attention. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Citizens Police Academy that we have through the Flagstaff Police Department. And there's also a Citizens Liaison Committee with the Flagstaff Police Department. And if anyone is interested in being on that or learning more about it, please let me know and I can connect you with Sergeant Otis Brockman, who can tell you more information about it. He's our principal information officer over there.
I would like to learn about that too. Just personally, I'm not speaking to the group, but
I actually had the privilege to attend. I would participate in the Citizens Police Academy with my mother, confidently about 5-6 years ago, and it was an interesting experience to get an in-depth view of the operations of the city's police department. I'd recommend the opportunity to anybody that has the opportunity.
But I guess what I'd like to know is more about what that entails to be participating in that. And so perhaps there's someone that could speak with us or give us information about that. Who might that be?
I can connect you with Sergeant Brockman again. He will have the information. I don't know when the next class will be. I know they were going to be having one soon, but it doesn't look like their page has been updated on that for the police academy.
Okay.
But
they have a website. Is that what you're saying?
yes, the Flagstaff Police Department does.
That's part of their website. Okay.
Yeah, but I will. And that was that Deanne? Yes, I will just connect you with Sergeant Brockman and tell him that you're interested in the CLC and Citizens Police Academy.
I can look at the website and see what they've got there rather than bothering you with that right now. I just would like to be able to get more information. It's good to know that there's a source.
Yes, and there are many regarding that, and it's just part of our police, part of our website. Let's see, I can just pull up the. So this is their main page. I'll put it in the chat very quickly. It's flagstaff.az.gov/422/police-department.
Okay,
Also, if you just Google Citizens Police Academy Flagstaff, it's the first
Yeah.
thing that pops up, and the second is the PDF that she sent you an attachment of.
okay. Good to know. Thank you. Of
And,
course.
and I'm just curious if there's anybody in this group that has an interest in the Citizens Liaison Committee. I have not joined it. I've heard about it, certainly discussed in another group that I'm a part of. There's a person in that group that is a member of it. So I just throw that out there, that this is an opportunity for individual commissioners to not join as commissioners, obviously, but just as citizens.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anything else we need to do today with this? Do we have a plan for moving this forward? So, Jessica, are you able or willing to help us get in touch with someone from the police department to discuss their availability, perhaps?
Yes, I can reach out and ask availability and who could do the presentation for how the police department currently works with diverse populations.
That would be really helpful. Thank you. And then we can consider what you find at our next meeting.
Well,
Okay.
I just wonder if Jessica can, arrange for a presentation, for somebody to come in our next meeting. Do we need to wait 2 months? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. So if it turns out that someone is available to speak with us at our next meeting, it could be added to our agenda. Is that what you're suggesting, Jean?
Yes.
Okay.
I just think we need to, move on it as quickly as possible.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. So that is the plan, that that the request, the first choice would be to ask them to join us at our next meeting. Okay. And if that doesn't work out, then we'll entertain other ideas perhaps. Is that fair, Jean?
That sounds fair to me. How about you, Mandy?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, good. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to talk about with regard to the Flagstaff Police Department? Okay. We have things on our agenda for future meetings that are not actually, I don't think there are any updates or any, there's no discussion required today for any of those. So unless anyone else has anything to add, I think today maybe we won't run clear till 3 o'clock, which would be different.
I'm just wondering if Jessica has an update on the scheduling for the fair item on the equitable restroom.
Oh, no, so I think I had mentioned before, I mean, it's not an agenda item, I guess, so it's in the queue.
Okay.
I know they reached out, had some questions, but once I have an update, I'll move it up to the discussion list.
Okay, thank you.
That's great. Okay, thanks for the reminder on that, Jean. Okay. Anything else? Okay, well, I think we have gone through our agenda. And it is 2:36 p.m. and I am adjourning the meeting on the Commission on Diversity Awareness. I'm really grateful to all of you for being here today and thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Buddy,
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.